Hi, we are live, and today we're doing something really special. We are actually to
Nice.
share our experience of first contact with the aliens who built a ancient civilization in China, Chengdu, Sanxingdui. That's where all the artifacts was found, leading us to the curiosity about were there alien contacts in ancient China. Joining me today with my two lovely, lovely channelers who has
Oh,
joined
Look at that.
Chengdu. Yeah,
nothing comes out when I do
Yeah.
me sharing all my Care Bear love.
it.
So it was really experience, don't you think, when we were there?
Absolutely. But like, can we talk a little bit about what is Sanxingdui first? Because like for me, I had never heard of that. And apparently it's an archaeological site that was found like pretty recently relative to other archaeological sites. It's only been like 80 years, 100 years or something like that.
29.
Hmm? 29?
1929 was the first time when they dug up
Oh, wow.
first artifacts. 1929. And of course, people were not sure what they were. They just simply just took it and they didn't do much with it. But as over time, more and more piles of it got collected, they started doing the archaeological digging. And that's when they realized that there were sites. But what was the most part that was curious is that there was nothing documented about them in any of the ancient history. There was no document about their kingdom, there was no documentation about the language, and apparently there were no languages that were used by them at that time. So it's actually quite interesting. But what we did find out, I mean, based on our channeling, is that they have not contacted Earth for more than 2,000 years. So we were likely a first contact for around 2,000 years. But before that, they were with the humans for another 4,000 years. But of course, these were all found out through our own channeling. Um, so basically, the site that we visited, the museum, the Sanxingdui Museum, was considered more like a burial site, and there were a lot of different artifacts that the humans created that they thrown into all this burial site.
Yeah, they said they were like sacrificial pits, but not of like
Not
animals or anything.
humans,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It was
just human
sacrificing like
sacrifice.
things that they
The
made. Yeah,
objects,
the
yeah.
objects. So
Yeah,
there was all this like bronze statue stuff in there
Mm.
and yeah.
and they were gigantic. Like when
Yeah.
so but let's talk about your first impression when you were there. It's like I only knew and learned about Sanxingdui when I visited Chengdu last year. And then that's when I decided, I said, the channelers have to come with me. There's so much mystery to be unraveled. Um,
Mm.
sure enough, when I arrived there, there was just so much mystery around it. So I love to hear your thoughts when you first arrived, and then when you were walking through all the different halls and seeing all this gigantic, weird depiction of things,
Hmm.
artistic by today's standard, but what came across at that time must be really innovative and I don't know what to describe.
Oh wow. I mean, for me, because you told me about this place, San Xindui, and I'd never heard of it before, so it felt like almost like like a fantasy thing. I was like, did Teresa come up with this? Because it sounded like such a big thing, like, oh, there's this civilization in China and there's all these artifacts. And I'm like, how have I never heard of this place before? And how is it that we only found it so recently? So that in and of itself was so crazy for me to hear and to like look it up and see the kind of work that they do. The bronze work is incredible. So I was just very like amazed and also like confused that I'd never heard of it. And then when we finally actually got to go to the museum and got guided through and got to hear about the history that people have uncovered through the artifacts, I was just on a like mental level, I was like so impressed, and it was really interesting to see not just because the Sanxingdui, they have these like crazy large depictions of like faces, and they could potentially look like a super stylized version of a person's face, but also they don't really look like people. And it was so cool to compare that to the depictions of like real animals and things that we have, like little pig. There's this really cute little like pig thing, and then like the rooster and stuff like that. So it really made me feel like it highlighted to me how special those faces were, because even considering the stylistic choices that I could see in like the pig and the rooster, it really didn't feel like a stylistic choice of depicting a person's face. So that was very interesting. It was like its own different thing. And then even they had these like mythical beasts or sacred beast statues, sculptures, bronze work sculptures that were so interesting. They didn't look like anything else. And those were also like really cool to look at, even from like an artistic perspective.
Yeah, especially if you're
Yeah.
an artist and you
Yeah.
thought about like what are the creativeness that gone into build them or
Yeah.
yeah. Crystal?
Yeah, I mean, same. I've not heard of Sanxingdui. Even I can't even pronounce it right. Yeah, and so when Teresa said about this alien civilization in China, like, do you know? I was like, no, never heard. Yeah, and I thought it's so interesting because, like, how come it's been so kept under wraps, right? How come it's been such a secret? Not, and I mean, when we were there, actually, I just felt the similarities, so-called like something like those Mayan, those kind of Mayan civilization, they had that kind of feel where like the noses are big, the ears are big, that kind of thing. Like you said, a very exaggeration of how a face would look. That that it's kind of not a human face or an alien face, and they did say it's all mask,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and I said, and how come? Like we know people, everyone knows about the Mayan civilization. Like it's just so popular, so famous. But why was this so? Like I said, just no, they choose to be quiet about it, or is it because even if the people in China discovered it, nobody wanted to show it to the world, except now.
Yeah.
And right, and but every time I go to a museum, because there's always a lot of different artifacts, and so I also was trying to understand, like, okay, when they were there, what were they trying to do or support or help? What was their purpose? I mean, I think that was one of the things that I was trying to understand, and I didn't until the last uh what do you call this, the last object
Exhibit. Yeah.
exhibit, that's yes, until the last exhibit, and then it just all came together for me, yeah, which was really beautiful. I hope we can show them a picture of that, if
Yeah, I'll
The
see what
tree.
yeah, the
You really
tree.
connected with it, I remember.
Yeah, I mean, that felt like, wow, that tell the whole story of this civilization. Yeah.
Mm.
now you make me really want to go dig it up.
Yeah. Or go
Yeah.
back. I just find it's just so amazing that I'd never heard of it. And I love like ancient history so much. So I was like, huh? How has this like not been on my radar? So
Yeah.
that's just like the incredible thing about it, where I don't see it talked about a lot at all.
So what
Mm.
I really liked was that when we walked through all the different halls, right, and all the different questions came up, and then we just kept them, then we could channel and get all the answers that we wanted. And
Mm.
that's what
Mm.
I really appreciate us being channelers. So that was at least it satisfied a lot of our curiosity. And then when we invited the aliens to join us, we were able to fire away at all the questions. And what was beautiful was all the information they shared was just so candid. There was nothing that they wanted to hide.
Mm.
And they were so happy to share their existence when they were interacting with the humans and what they contributed and what they shared with the humans to contribute to the growth and evolution of humans. And I might show a little short clip. Do you think this is a good time to show a little short clip?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope I can cue it up.
I'm sure you can. Is that from when we did the channeling?
Yeah, that's the one where we
Wow.
like,
Yeah. Oh,
That
while
was
she cues
yeah.
it up, that was really crazy because it was,
Yes.
the two of us.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean I was just sharing with the class as well, the batch 10.
Hmm.
It's just so I can't explain that feeling, right? When you are like in a room, spiritually in a room with someone channeling spiritually, communicating spiritually, right?
Mm.
It's just a very yeah, I don't know how to say.
That
Words cannot
sense of
describe that.
connection.
Yeah, that kind of connection is
Hmm.
really beautiful. Mm,
Yeah, absolutely. Like whenever that comes up where we get an opportunity to, I think especially because this time when we were channeling these beings, we were channeling like two different beings from the same
beings, yeah.
group. So
Yeah,
that sense of like, we're not just channeling two completely separate beings and then just kind of
correct.
like taking turns to hold different
Yeah,
energies.
exactly.
It
Yeah.
was like a little bit of a mind reading kind of feeling
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
yeah, and we were like finishing each other's kind of sentence, or we were like, we
Yeah,
knew
or
what we,
saying stuff at the
what,
same
yeah,
time.
like I knew what you were gonna say, you knew what I was gonna say, or it's like, and agreeing,
You
the
kind of
whole
nod along like
yeah,
that's
yes,
what I'm
yeah,
getting through here.
yeah, yeah,
shall I
yeah,
play it?
Yeah, go for
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I speed it up a little because we're just going to show a short clip.
From a human perspective, we are able to understand time, to understand the moment, and what it is like we commute. We are here. Look, we have spoken before. We have. It's good to see you here. We are exploring more influence and remnants that you see and appear in your time stream. Yes, that's correct. What many, many things, many processes are incomplete incomplete impressions that are, as you would say, they are not wrong. Those are incomplete. Beginning is where we'd like to begin. What you do? We were part of the same federation contributing not just genetic blueprints to Earth, but also allowing downloads to come to humans. We support the growth of ideas and technologies in a spiritual sense. Those humans who work with us as we work with their experience here, others as well, all over the world. We also came to contribute, but not many people work with us, and we were long separate from you until you began to reconnect with us, and we are retuning now to be able to communicate through your concept of language.
I thought I'll just stop here. Just
Hmm.
short, I don't know, that short 2 minutes. There's already so many information shared. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to edit this and then put it onto the YouTube so that people can watch more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really so nice of them to come to share, like, when they first came, what they contributed, what did they help with. Yeah, that was so nice.
Mm. Oh
We,
yeah, and they also mentioned how they weren't really like gods.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that was the whole thing in
Mm,
terms of the theory of like, okay, why are all of these depictions and like all this stuff being made, right? Like all this very intricate bronze work and art and the masks and all of it. And it was like, well, it seems like it's some sort of worship-based
Worship,
thing
yeah.
of like gods or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, it wasn't supposed to be like that. But at certain points, I remember them saying it was like initially they were coming through and it was about like tuning into them. And then over time it became worshipful.
Yep.
And then it became difficult to connect and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I think that was the key reason why there was that disconnect. I mean, the disconnection kind of started because of that. People started worshiping them and not like connecting and communicating with them. So it's like, yeah.
And that's actually a very good point. Like, just yesterday we were conducting our channeling class. It was so beautiful that Horus came, right? And then Horus again is also put on a pedestal as one of the gods of Egypt, right? But he said he really doesn't even see himself as gods of Egypt. He's just there to share knowledge because they know the information and they just want to teach and help with the evolution, humans' growth. And when we contacted with the Sanxingdui's aliens, they were actually very disappointed as we continued to put them on pedestal. And that's when the distance created and they started fading.
Yeah.
And it's not that they abandoned us.
Right. They said they lost contact. And they kept, I remember they liked the word collaborators. They kept calling themselves that as well.
Yep. Yeah. So that was something that I took very personal because especially as the work we do as channelers, one of the very first things we said that we don't have biases and then we are collaborators. We don't put ourselves below or we don't put something above and we don't put ourselves above. There's no such thing, right? I mean, like I would use the analogy of like we pay more for the roses, but really we don't pay for mud, but without mud, roses can't grow. Right? So there's in the world of the universe, they're both equally important and they're of equal status, just that everybody need to fulfill different roles, right? So but that's the thing, like that's the way I see it, you know. So I forgot to open the circle. Just let me do that with intention, inviting all the sentient brothers and sisters to join us today in our YouTube live. You're welcome to join us on YouTube live. Oops. Sorry. Yikes. I tell them that no, I can't. Hold on.
What's up?
Is it background noise or something? Or
Oh, is it?
Did you hear my phone going off?
No.
Okay, I panicked because I thought everybody could hear the phone going off. Okay.
I didn't hear it.
My mission online. Yeah, so okay, so I forgot. We are now declaring the circle open.
I
So
mean, I felt it open, so
yeah. Invitation. I forgot to say the word like the circle's open because the phone started ringing. So okay, yeah, today we definitely feel that they want to connect with us again today to share more information of what does it mean to connect with us again this time, because they have not connected with us for 2,000 over years until we go knock knock, hello, we're so curious about you. And I know that they often appear to want to continue to share the ancient knowledge and the knowledge that's useful for us to continue with our human evolution, human growth. So yeah, whenever you both feel ready. But for now, anything else that you all want to add about your impression and your connection? I know that Crystal was really emotional when you really see the true meaning of their connection or when they connected with us. Do you want to share a bit of that?
Yeah, I think like I said, the last exhibit of that, it was a tree. I don't know, did it?
Yeah,
It's like the tree of life, right? Something like that. But
yeah.
they are depiction of that tree. And there was actually, I was actually very connected to the dragons that lived at that time, which I believe would have worked closely with the Sanxingdui as well. But the whole, I think during that period when they were here, it's how they are so connected to our land, our mountains, our streams, everything, the whole ecosystem, the whole Mother Earth ecosystem. They were very connected to that. So it's almost like every living thing, every living being, every plant, birds and all that, all animals, all have that one connection, like we're all one. And that's that feeling that we are all one and we're all so connected,
Mm,
every one of us and every single being, and like seen and unseen.
mm,
That really moved me a
mm.
lot. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know why. I usually don't cry looking at an exhibit. But somehow this one was, yeah, I mean it's kind of small, probably y'all can't see. There's like birds and yeah, it's like a tree branch and then there are birds like perching on them. And they were explaining, right? I can't remember. They were
It
explaining
was
all the
like the
different,
suns, the
yeah,
birds.
the
Birds were
birds
the
were
representation of suns. Yeah.
suns, right?
They would
Yeah.
like carry the sun and they take turns.
Yeah. So like everyone had a role to play.
Mm,
And it's like that, right? Like we all have, I felt like, oh, it's just a reminder that we all have our each individual role to play. There is no one like I'm more important than you or you're more important than me. Everyone just has their equal role to play.
Mhm.
And they had that, and that's what they also wanted to show to us.
mm,
This uh it's not just show us, I think they wanted us to embody this
mm,
oneness,
mm.
yeah, and respect and love for each and every being and living being, like plants, animals, and humans alike. Yeah, and the energy that we can't see, which is like the earth energy from Mother Earth, everything, the life that's given to us.
And also
Yeah,
the dragon, in case anybody is noticing and looking at
yeah,
Oh yes, you can
right at the
take that.
bottom.
Yeah, that little face
Yeah.
over there.
yeah.
Yes, and yeah, so I just felt that this I was connecting to the dragon of the land when we were there, right? And
Mm.
so we always think dragons are those like flying in the sky, right? That's how we always think of. Dragons are or Chinese depiction of dragons are always in the sky or in the
Or
water
water.
dragon, right? Yeah, sky dragon, water dragon. No, I don't know whether we talk about earth dragon, but they are like the earth dragons. They are actually the land dragons and they live in that land. And that was really beautiful too.
I think one more thing I'll say about this particular point where they were talking about this exhibit and how these birds are related to like bringing bringing the like sun around and taking turns with that. I thought it was so fascinating when I was there because prior to us going and without having done any research, we did like connect briefly with
With
the beings
the
and they felt like sunshine
sunshines. Yeah.
to yeah we've both connected so we know that is they have this like kind
Yeah.
of like sunshine warm
Ray.
yellowy
Yeah,
feeling to
correct.
them
Yellow golden rays of light kind of thing.
yeah
Yeah.
Mm.
so having that and then this being like connected to the sun as well it was like oh wow that's so
Yeah.
cool
What
And I
was,
think we connect to the dragons before I saw this, right? Yeah.
yeah,
mm-hmm.
We
uh,
connected to the dragons of the land. It
we
was
did,
one of those mornings, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
meditation. Not,
Yeah.
we did also continue to connect with the dragons as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember during the morning meditation when we were there, and I saw this green scale slithering past, and I was like, okay, that's a big dragon walking past me.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. It was Green Dragon,
yeah,
actually. Yeah, maybe that's also why, because like the things that we channeled before we came to the exhibit, before we came for the museum visit, right? Yeah, we really were introduced somewhat to it. So yeah.
What was interesting for me was that the humans at that time had the ability to interact with the dragons, had the
Mm-hmm.
ability to interact with the star beings, you know, and so it was, I guess, a natural ability of ours. When did
Mm.
it lose it? How did it lose it? You know, is the part that I'm intrigued about. Like,
That
did
is
we
intriguing.
evolve, you know, rather
Yeah.
than evolve, right? Like evolving, if that's what happened to us and what caused it, right?
Oh. Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah, I feel that it's like it might be because like knowledge wasn't passed down, right? Like
I
it's always in the past, like if you are a what is called it? Wizard, Chinese wizard is called what? Right?
uh-huh.
What do you call Chinese wizards? Anyway, like you're a wizard, and if you don't have your um what do they call that? Like student, they don't call it student, right?
examples.
Your disciples.
Yeah, I don't know, your disciples. Like if you don't have enough of disciples,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it just doesn't get passed, the knowledge just doesn't get passed down.
I had a
Just
sudden ping about the question, which was that, do you guys remember in like C.S. Lewis's story, The Chronicles of Narnia, then initially before it sort of goes to the main one, the kids like there was a set of kids, they had this uncle who met Aslan, and he was like, "Oh my God, a talking a talking lion. Lions can't talk, lions can't talk." And he said it to himself so much that he really stopped being able to perceive that Aslan was
mm,
talking at all. Um just because he was like, this is impossible, like, and so he denied the experience out of being able to have it in the first
mm,
place. So I think it's weird. It's like it's like a metaphor for that sense of like, oh, they lost contact, they weren't able to tune in because the frequency was mismatched.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a really interesting question. I wonder what they would say about us specifically, like losing the ability to perceive all of this stuff easily.
Yeah.
That is a really interesting question, Teresa.
Yeah. So
Mm.
shall we? Ready to
I'm sure
challenge?
you've got plenty of interesting questions to ask.
Okay, I'll just let both of you get into the moment and get
Mhm.
into channeling. I'm so excited to meet them again.
Hmm. We tune faster now.
Yes, the last time you had to learn our language. Thank you so much.
Tuning is getting faster since previous encounter.
Indeed. Nice to meet you again.
Yes, we said we would see you again, and here we are.
Yes. Sorry you had to wait a bit because we have to line up the ducks.
There's no wait.
That's good. So we were in conversation, and we know that one of the things that you shared with us was that it's not that you left us, but it was more like we lost contact. And one of our conversation was that humans at the time when you first made contact, was that around 4,000 years ago, had the abilities to connect with you, connect with the elementals like the dragons and the fairies, but somehow we seem to have lost that ability. Do you
Hmm.
know what happened? How we
Shift,
lost it? Mhm.
shifting focus, your actions also, and your focus, it can alter your perceptions. I'm sure you have also noticed that as what you focus on changes, your attention transforms, different things become obvious, and other things fade into the background. And your shift in focus is something that you can pass down to your children and your children's children. It affects your bodies. The shift in focus away from the perceptions of the subtle energies was slowly passed down, and the perception of what was of importance shifted over time. There is more complexity in the exact series of events, but the overarching principle is like this.
See. Are you here alone today, or did somebody join you as well?
We are back.
Ah, both of you.
Yes.
Nice to meet you again as well. I'm just curious, as we lost the ability to connect ethereally with, or spiritually, with all of you and also the other elementals, is there possibility of reconnecting or bringing back that gift?
Yes, still
How?
in your blueprint.
I see. How can we reactivate that gift?
It is not to reactivate, it is already there.
Mm-hmm.
The connection, as mentioned, we have never left. We have always been there at the same place or the same plane. It is whether you manage to pick up that phone to dial the right number, you can say. So, just like how it is now, just like how you are here to tell the story, to tell what transpired and what happened, the changes in the perception of humanity that has caused that misunderstanding of who we are or who and what our purpose was meant to be. We all have different roles and purpose and knowledge to share. But if it is that time where the humans have decided to change what they want to learn, then we do not need to be there to share, because what we share will not be useful or helpful.
Interesting concept. So let's just say humans now need to pick up the phone to dial your number. How do we know which number to dial?
It is like now you have your intention, and your purpose now is you want to hear from us. You are open to hear what we wish to share.
Open.
At that time, they already have in their mind what they want to hear. We do not give answers to exactly what you want to hear or what knowledge you want. They wanted to know about when will it rain. We cannot tell you when will it rain. When will there be sun? How long? All they ask and pray for us to give them rain. That is also not our role.
Yes, they were farmers. They needed food. They were worried about their livelihood. So they needed the sun, the rain to grow their plants. But what were your role at the time? What were you passing on knowledge to them at the time?
Technology.
Were they ready?
Yes, but technology also, even though we have that advancement, but humans might take a little longer to understand it and to use it and to practice. Though they were eager, perhaps too eager.
We noticed that at the artifacts that were found in the sacrificial pits, there were a lot of advanced work with jade, with bronze, with machine-like creations. Was that all shared by your team to the humans on how to use tools and how to manipulate bronze and jade and gold and all the different types of metals?
The
And what
ways that we expressed our sharing, our sharing with humanity was to help them to unlock or understand their own abilities. We hope you do not misunderstand and attribute all of their creativity to us giving answers. We were not giving answers. We were simply guiding to collaborate with them. And for their materials, you can now see the components that have physical remains that are of a frequency match with your current sense of what physical reality is. Indeed, we did also share with them some concepts or to help them to understand from themselves, from within, an understanding of materials that are non-physical too, that were also involved, but they do not leave the physical traces that you look for.
that explains. There was a lot of mystery behind how they were able to create that many things, because there was no written documentations, but just these art.
Yes, you do not have access to their writing
Mm.
because it has not left traces that are easy for you to perceive.
How can we perceive them?
You will need to work together collectively, and then it will seem as though their records appear within your archaeological explorations.
Yes, definitely there were ancient texts, but you are not able to visibly see them as shared.
Indeed, that was very interesting. May I also check in about that time when you came to Earth to collaborate with the humans? Were all humans on Earth already evolved to interact with star beings and elementals?
You were already of that nature, yes.
I'm just feeling a bit sad that we lost that want or need to continue to collaborate intergalactic beings.
You
What
still have the capacity.
Yes, yes, of course, like how we're having the conversation right now. May I check that when you were with us, what was interesting and fascinating for you all about the humans? And what made you all stay for as long as you can, or as you could?
Combination of their different frequencies, able to have their physical components like you perceive now, and also have the subtler components that can interact with our bodies that do not have what you would call physical components in the same kind of way. There are many layers of frequency in the human experience, and that is very unique and beautiful.
Yes, and through the objects as well, we are also having that privilege to be able to sense the energy of the land. And that is also why we do enjoy spending time here on Earth during that time. The energy frequency of the land is very favorable.
Did you stay in homes on Earth or were you on your spacecraft?
Yes, we do visit, and yes, we sometimes choose to stay a little longer, but we do not stay in homes for a long time, if that is what you mean.
Is that because of your frequency and Earth is not an exact match that you cannot stay on Earth for prolonged time, prolonged period?
Your perceptions of us at the time were similar to what you might imagine with a holographic experience. We were not quite physical, but we were interacting directly with the frequencies of Earth that we were able to perceive.
Be seen, so-called, in a more physical form.
I see. So what was some knowledge that you shared at the time that you feel that will be useful for us now? If you could share them with us.
The nature of our work behaves like your activations. So working together with us, it is less that we have instructions to give, and more that you could say we are like muses, your concept of beings that grant inspiration.
We are more like muses. We encourage people or humans. We support them in that sense.
We catalyze connections.
There's a
Yes.
question from the live in YouTube, and the question is that, can you describe, based on what we know about the aliens from Sanxingdui, how do they look like? But you just mentioned that you were more holographic, but yet all the masks that they depicted of you in the museum was the perception of you. Am I right?
Yes, there is a certain stretched out appearance that people perceived of us. It is like a blurry effect and a slightly humanoid look. We are on the short side to you, and we come in all different shades of golden color. When you perceive us, it is like that, like a golden little, but not very little, person-like.
So to answer Billy's question, how would you describe how you actually look like beyond the human's perception?
We do not operate on that kind of understanding of ourselves. It is a human thing, and there are other beings as well that operate similarly, but we do not primarily focus on what you would call visual data. We perceive each other something like codes. Like your light codes, we perceive each other.
Ooh, that's nice. Would you give go on?
So as shared, we share and communicate through codes. But as humans, I know that it is always easy to remember something or someone with a visual. And that's for they created a visual of us.
Yes.
Yes, there was a lot of beautiful artifacts. And now I would simply say that they were inspired by you because they were not instigated or created with you, but more of an inspiration where you've given them some guidance. So humans at the time who were able to perceive the guidance that you provided definitely created a lot of amazing and beautiful, beyond imagination artwork or innovations and inventions. So,
Inspired by the way that they perceive our connection, our energy, what they would call our bodies.
and at the time when you chose to interact with the humans, what purpose were you hoping to achieve?
Our purpose was similar to the other races who were involved in the seeding of humanity's progress.
Evolution, their progress, that's right.
So there's a question that came from Wanto from the YouTube live. The question is, why would the extraterrestrial beings, that's referring to you both, choose Sanxingdui as the site for first contact? And what significance might this location hold for you all and for us humans?
We worked in that area, and others have worked in similar types of areas that have a bloom of energy and what you might call a fertility of sorts. It is like a beautiful explosion of energies, ideas, creativity, life forms. There are certain hotspots like this around the earth, and they
yes.
shift as well. At the time, there was one there we felt affinity to, we felt love for.
I do know of other aliens or star beings who were making contact in other parts of Earth, like the Mayans and even the Egyptians. After your exploration with Earth, did you move on to other planets?
Yes, we do assist other planets as well, but different. Every planet, the needs or the energy of the beings or souls living there is different.
Not like Earth.
No.
Right now, Earth, as I understand it, is still evolving from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And from which dimension were you all from?
Wow. Earth is holding many energies now. 11.
I see. Okay. I think we're slightly running out of time. And if there's anything else that you both like to share with us and our YouTube live audience, please.
We are pleased to meet you, and we hope that this has piqued your curiosity, and we welcome those of you that can perceive us to enjoy it, to allow yourselves to be creative and explore many ideas and to try many things in your life.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate you both making your presence here again. And I hope to see both of you soon. Adios. Take your time, Sydney and Crystal. Welcome back. Welcome back. Were they the
Wow.
same? They were the
Yeah.
same, right?
Same
And
I
one.
think so.
they were
Yeah.
just they're so beautiful, and it is quite interesting how they mentioned that it took them much faster to pick up the language again, because I remember the first time, Sydney, when you channeled them, they were still muttering and learning
Yeah.
to
It
go
was like all
Mm.
sounds and
all
stuff.
sounds and trying to connect with us and all that, right? So that was really beautiful, and I really like that that they shared with us how it is still within our blueprint to be able to connect with them, but it's just purely based on intention and what we really want to learn and what's the reason. I mean, there's a reason why we call the phone and talk to each other. We don't just say that
Yeah.
hello, without
Yeah.
first.
And it was interesting when you asked the question about like what do you do like in working with people? And the moment you asked that question, I got a whole bunch of stuff like not in English. It was just like code. And I was like, oh no, like please help me out here. And then it was like basically like a muse, you kind of like get the sense of like ooh, like connecting dots and getting ideas and creative insight and all that kind of stuff. And so I
Mm.
was like, okay, that's a bit more intelligible.
Yeah, it's like that question is a hard question, and
Yeah.
because it's like it's not direct. It's not like they say, yeah, I come to tell you what to do, or
Yeah,
what you
it's like,
should
what
do
do you
or
have to
shouldn't
share? And
do.
it's like,
Yeah.
not really
No.
trying to tell
Yeah,
you to do anything. Yeah.
correct. Yeah. It's like they're more like I don't know how to say it, guide, support. Like you have to ask them uh and then they would share more, that kind of thing. It's like a friend. It's like you can't expect your friend to live your life for you or tell you how to live your life, but if you share with them, like, hey, I have this idea and I want to, but everything has got to be to do with connecting with, of course, supporting the evolution of humanity. So it's not just like, oh, how do I get a bigger house? Not that kind of question, but more towards that, what else can I do for humanity? What else can I do to better my village, example?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
but remember how at the beginning where they talked about like these humans as they continue to lose, the connection, is because their wants started to shift and they wanted to have more rain, more sun, and it's not their purpose because they're not gods. They're not here to shift the weather or change the weather for us, right? And they have never positioned themselves as gods, but just because humanly we tend to want to put things on a pedestal if they can do more for us, because we naturally have that need to create the hierarchy
Yeah, yeah.
and put them, and then the purpose and the frequencies then just doesn't connect because what they are here to offer for us was not what we wanted, and then that got separated. So yeah, it's actually quite interesting conversation, and I learned a lot today. So thank you both for that amazing channeling. And it's so kind of them to want to come back to share with us that, all the questions from the YouTube live was very useful as well. Thank
Yeah.
you all so
Yes,
much
thank you
for
for the
posing all
question.
those questions. Those were really great questions. And hopefully they answered they answered your questions and piqued your curiosity in wanting to connect more with the star nations from the confederations, who is always there and seeing us as part of the members and wanting to collaborate with us. So with that, anything else you both want to add? We're coming up to the hour.
Oh, wow. I feel like it's hard to
Just
add.
started.
Yeah, exactly. We're just like scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because I felt that they are very happy to be able to connect again with
Oh, yeah.
us.
Mm.
I felt
So
that.
yeah, I mean, I think that's probably what I want to say. Like if you are feeling that you want to connect with this this star beings, they would be very happy to connect and share.
But we did ask them for a name because they tend to work with light codes and tend to work with frequencies. And I remember at the time, like Sydney and myself were like, give us a name. Like, we need a name. Like, yeah,
It was a very long sound.
exactly. So for short, we refer to them as the QTAS.
Yeah, that's what they gave us to refer to them.
Yeah, so I hope everyone enjoyed today's session. We wanted to share something with you all that not many information is out there yet. I mean, very often when people go to Sanxingdui, they are fascinated by the artifacts and they have questions like the way we did. But the blessings and the privilege of being channelers, we were able to connect with the people or the beings who inspired the people for creation of all these artifacts. I forgot to add that we did connect with the priests in Sanxingdui from the ancient civilization who talked about how they created them and why would there be sacrificial pits.
Yes, that was so interesting because we got like a collective to get
Correct.
a multi-generational view of what happened.
Correct. So just like, sorry, because we're about to close, but we'll just give you a bit of
Look out for that, Teresa. We'll edit up the video, maybe.
yeah, we'll probably have to put the original channeling videos on so that you may refer to it in connection with this YouTube live.
Yeah.
Just as a teaser, the collective of the priests did come by to share of how they did feel the disconnect, the lack of the frequencies were no longer aligning, and they felt it's further and further connection to the star beings, and they were doing their very best to connect, and they thought by destroying everything they had will mean that they're starting from ground zero and can recreate the connection.
Yeah, it was something like the stuff that wasn't working, like the tools that they had, and so they're like, okay, let's just like say like sacrifice, like, oh please guys, like let's do over, like start this, like maybe we should just start from scratch
Restart
instead of trying
everything.
to like use the old stuff. And anyway, I think I don't remember it super clearly, hence
You're out there. Have to go back to do some video editing. But yeah, so it is all very interesting. So hopefully everybody found a lot of insightful, useful information from today's session. We really did enjoy going to Sanxingdui. And for those of you who have not visited Sichuan, Chengdu, they're not just known for the pandas and the giant pandas. I know a lot of people who went to Chengdu, they all rushed to the 熊猫基地, which is the pandas headquarters. But yeah, there's another very interesting thing to look out for when you're in Chengdu, Sichuan, and that is Sanxingdui. So with that, thank you everyone for tuning in. We had such pleasure chatting with y'all. I really appreciate all those who asked questions.
Get the hearts.
More hearts.
Oh.
I used to know how to create the balloons as well. Come on. Where's the balloons? Well, I don't know. They sometimes get in, like, not so easy. But anyway, thank you all, everyone, for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon again. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Yes, I stopped this.